going to learn a strategy to help you write an awesome summary. This strategy is called the somebody wanted but so then strategy. And these 5 key words are going to help you identify the main 5 elements of any fiction narrative. So the somebody is, who is the character in the story, the main character? Who is that somebody? What did that character want? What did they want? But what was the problem? Think about this when your mom says, you can go play, but you gotta make your bed first. The but is the problem. So, how does the character solve the problem? S-O are the first 2 letters in the word solve. Remember S-O for solve. And then, how does a story end? What was the resolution to the story? So we're going to use this strategy to help you summarize a story I think you're all familiar with. The story is Cinderella. So let's watch as we identify the somebody wanted, but so then in the story we know Cinderella. If you've never read the story Cinderella, please keep watching this video all the way through and you'll get a chance to have the story Cinderella read to you with the words to follow along as the story is read. If you've read the story before, then you have the option of fast forwarding through the reading of Cinderella till you see me again. And we're going to walk through how to summarize the story Cinderella.
Once upon a time, a widower lived in a fine house with his daughter Cinderella. He loved his daughter very much, but he wanted her to have a mother's care. So he married Lady Tremaine, a woman who had 2 young daughters. Sadly, the gentleman died soon after. Cinderella discovered that her stepmother was cold, cruel, and bitterly jealous of Cinderella's charm and beauty. As the years passed, Cinderella's stepmother spoiled her 2 mean daughters. Anastasia and Drizella slept in large, lovely bedrooms, but Cinderella was given a tiny room in the attic. Poor Cinderella was forced to do all the laundry, serve all the meals, and clean the house. Still, Cinderella remained kind and gentle. All of the animals loved her. The birds sang to her, and the mice were always there to keep her company. She even made tiny clothes for them. One morning, Cinderella stood at the window in her tiny room. She dreamed of one day wearing a beautiful gown and dancing at a fancy ball. Someday my dreams will come true, Cinderella said to herself. Meanwhile, the king had his own troubles. He wanted his son to marry right away, but the prince wanted to wait for the girl of his dreams. The king had an idea. He told the Grand Duke they would have a ball and invite all the young women in the kingdom. The royal invitations were delivered that very day. As their mother read the news of the ball aloud, Anastasia and Drizella jumped with excitement. Cinderella asked if she could go to the ball too. "You may go," said her stepmother sternly, "if you get all of your work done and if you can find something suitable to wear." Cinderella ran to her room and found an old ball gown that had belonged to her mother. "Maybe it's a little old-fashioned, but I'll fix that," she thought. First, she had chores to do, though. Cinderella worked quickly, but as soon as she finished one task, she was given another. It was 8 o'clock when Cinderella finally went back to her room, tired and sad. There was no time left to finish her dress. But there was a surprise waiting in the attic. Cinderella's animal friends had finished the gown. It was beautiful. "Oh, thank you so much," Cinderella said. Cinderella dressed and hurried downstairs. When Anastasia and Drizella saw her, they flew into a jealous fit. They ripped the dress, pulling off the sash and yanking the beads. Sobbing, Cinderella ran into the garden. "It's just no use," she cried. Cinderella thought her dreams would never come true. Moments later, the garden filled with light. Cinderella's fairy godmother had appeared. "Come now, dry those tears," the kind fairy said. "You can't go to the ball looking like that." With a wave of her wand, the fairy godmother turned a pumpkin into a glittering coach, and the mice into horses. Then she changed the horse into a coachman, and the dog Bruno into a footman. Last of all, she transformed Cinderella's rags into a lovely ball gown and put glass slippers on her tiny feet. "Why, it's like a wonderful dream come true," Cinderella said with a sigh. "Yes, my child, but you'll have only till midnight," cautioned the fairy godmother. "On the stroke of 12, the spell will be broken and everything will be as it was before." Cinderella was whisked away to the palace. When she entered the ballroom, the prince rushed over and asked her to dance. Cinderella smiled and took his hand, never guessing that he was the prince. They danced all night, and anyone could see that they were falling in love. But Cinderella had lost track of time. It was nearly midnight. "Goodbye," she said to the prince as she hurried away. Both the prince and the Grand Duke tried to stop her, but Cinderella ran off, losing a glass slipper along the way. Just beyond the palace gates, at the last stroke of midnight, the spell was broken. All was as it had been before. All, that is, except for the tiny glass slipper on Cinderella's foot. She took the slipper off and carried it home. The next morning, Lady Tremaine told her daughters that the Grand Duke was searching for the girl who lost the glass slipper. Whoever fit the slipper perfectly would marry the prince. Lady Tremaine decided that Cinderella must not have the chance to try on the slipper. She quickly locked the girl in her room. But Cinderella wasn't locked in for long. The mice stole the key and slipped it under Cinderella's door. Meanwhile, Anastasia and Drizella tried to force their big feet into the tiny slipper, but it was no use. Just as the Grand Duke was about to leave, Cinderella appeared at the top of the stairs. "May I try it on?" she asked. The footman carried the slipper toward Cinderella, but her stepmother tripped him. The glass slipper crashed to the floor, shattering into 1,000 pieces. "If it would help, I have the other slipper," Cinderella said with a smile. She pulled the glass slipper from her pocket. The Grand Duke knelt before Cinderella and eased the slipper onto her dainty foot. It was a perfect fit. Soon Cinderella and the prince were married, to the delight of the entire kingdom. The royal couple lived happily ever after. The end.
Well, welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed that reading of Cinderella, and those of you who know that story pretty well, hopefully you were able to just fast forward till this part right here. This is the part that's important because this is the part that is your actual homework. Not only watching this video, but you're going to be filling out this graphic organizer that you all brought home tonight, and I'm going to walk you through the somebody wanted but so then strategy, and you're going to fill it in with the story of Cinderella. So let's start with who. Who is this somebody? Can you guys guess? If you said Cinderella, you are absolutely right. She is the main character. So on your somebody box, on your graphic organizer, pause the video right now and go ahead and write in Cinderella. Great. Now, wanted. What did Cinderella want? Well, what she really wanted, the main thing she wanted was she wanted to go to that ball. But there was a problem. Before we get to the problem, pause the video and fill in the wanted part of your graphic organizer. Awesome. Okay, what was her problem? How come she could not go to that ball? Well, there was a big but. The big but problem was her evil stepmother wouldn't allow her to go. So go ahead and you know the drill. Stop the video and fill it in on your graphic organizer. Fill in the big problem. What was that problem? You guys are fast writers. All right, so what did Cinderella do to solve the problem? Or how was she able to solve the problem? In our story, the so her fairy godmother showed up and used magic to give her a dress, shoes, and a carriage so she could go to that ball. That's a lot of writing. So you might want to pause the video right now and fill in on your graphic organizer the so. What is the so of Cinderella? How did she solve that problem? Go ahead and stop the video now. Great job. All right, now how does the story end? Like all Disney stories do. Then she met the prince, they fell in love, and they lived. You know it. Let's say it together. Happily ever after. So go ahead and stop the video and fill in the last part of your graphic organizer, summary strategy organizer. And then when we come to class tomorrow, we're going to take this information on top and we're going to write one big summary paragraph for the story of Cinderella. And we're going to try the same strategy all week long with some new stories. And let's see how well we're going to do at summaries by the end of this week. See you guys in class.